Hello potential viewers, welcome to my channel. The topic of this video is about the Great Firewall in China. And if you paid even a little bit of attention to the situations there, you would have heard of it somehow. But what is it? And how is it built and established in China? The Great Firewall was a project started by the Chinese government at around 1998 and was starting to be deployed around 2010. The project has been in ever maintenance and improvement to this day. The man who architected the Great Firewall was a man named Fang Bingxin, in its Chinese way of pronunciation. He is a famous IT expert in China and was in charge of designing the key components of the Great Firewall, known to the Chinese netizens as the father of the Great Firewall. The basic mechanics for the Great Firewall, for those who are not too familiar with the networking technology, like me, is that it constructs a blacklist for DNS entries and thus IP addresses. If you then ask, what are DNS entries and IP addresses? That is something to Google to understand about how the world connects in the age of internet. To put them in layman's terms, they help your computer reach the websites by locating the servers that serve the websites. And with the blacklist, any users in China, due to their locating in China and their internet connections, need to talk to DNS servers in China to talk to any website. The blacklist then will prevent you from talking to any website that the Chinese government deemed dangerous and unwelcome. Like one of my previous videos mentioned, there was once a time where users in China had access to the now banned websites like Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Wikipedia. And during a brief period during the early 2010s, these websites started getting blocked one by one. The process of blocking these websites did not complete overnight and with no explanation given to the public, of course. For Facebook and Twitter to get banned, it is in a relatively short period when notices are being sent out, and news headlines started popping up detailing Facebook and Twitter's sins and atrocities like 1. The people in Xinjiang who oppose the Chinese Communist Party's government are now using Facebook and Twitter as a platform to coordinate riots and anti-government assemblies, thus promoting challenges to the One China policy narrative. And 2, that a lot of people in the West, or in the official language, Western operatives, are now spreading sensitive information, or in the official language, misinformation about China's recent history and especially the dirty laundry of the Chinese Communist Party, the Tiananmen Square incident, the opium farming business that helped fund the party and its revolutionary attempt in the early 1940s, and the affair between the then president of China, Jiang Zemin, and the national songstress Song Zuyin, to name a few. Some people complained about this banning, of course, but most people just did not care. The services that are being provided by Facebook and Twitter are being copied, replicated in China. And like all good sheepos do, complaints were the maximum of what is being done, since most people are less concerned with the principle of freedom of information and more on the notion that people on these websites are saying things they do not like. The blocking of Google involved a more elaborate and sinister plot, in coordination with the then homegrown search engine website Baidu, current-day leader of development of surveillance AI technologies in China. In my opinion, this was due to the fact that it being a search engine and having no bar of entry and easy to use for anyone within any age range, unlike Facebook and Twitter, where you will have to register and befriend or follow people to enable information sharing. Before 2010, the Chinese propaganda and censorship machine are already building up their scheme of either forcing Google to accept their censorious terms and, most importantly, provide info on users who search for and distribute sensitive information while the site, or just forcing Google out of the market completely. And when Google refused to accept the censorious terms, due to its seemingly having a backbone and spirit of not doing evil back then, the machine deployed its smear merchants. Not only was the same old smear techniques used, i.e., accusations of actions of foreign operatives, spreading misinformation or fake news, which is a word also used in the term back then, but also some coordinated attack from Baidu. Baidu assembled an unknown amount of teams that started flooding Google searches with pornographic keywords, which in turn skewed the regional autocomplete and hot search ranking function in the Beijing area. Then the state media, CCTV, did a lot of exposés on Google for intentionally spreading pornography and corrupting young children, with some live footage taking place in Beijing of people located in Beijing searching for something and got pornographic results back due to the query flooding and result skew. This became one of the key accusations of the supposed wrongdoings of Google, as a Chinese version of "Won't someone please think of the children?" This, alongside countless smear attacks, expectedly prompted some civil support for the banning and regulation of Google as a foreign and US company. At the same time, the state also deployed hackers and local agents in local SP facilities to deliberately interrupt the functions of Google subsites. For example, Gmail, which was still used back then by many professionals. And in 2010, Google has become officially banned in China. And following similar fate, other websites and services with functions of sharing information are banned. This includes Wikipedia, Instagram, Quora, and Reddit. Thus, the Great Firewall established its existence and struck the internet users in China with a heavy hammer of authoritarian censorship, with the blocking of some of the biggest websites and information hub on the planet. The Chinese government had a greater than ever control over the flow of information. But just because these websites are banned, it does not mean that the market for those services will diminish. And with the permission and even some level of assistance from the state, the replacement websites and services in China started popping up. Most notable of those are Baidu, the Chinese version of search engine, and Weibo, the Chinese version of Twitter, TikTok and ByteDance, the Chinese version of Instagram and Snapchat. If some of those names are familiar to you, you are hearing them correctly. These replacement and censored versions of the services that are banned in China and half established by the state are now reaching for the market in the US, while the original services are still being banned in China. Like the saying goes, if the free world will not change China, China will change the free world. And with so many high-profile politicians and public figures promoting censorship and big companies in the US caving to China's demands and outright censoring dissidents of their preferred ideology, who can say that the West is not in the process of being changed? And that would be all for my video today. Hope to see you next time.